Most side hustles fail. People jump into dropshipping, Amazon stores, and invest into the next hot crypto. And within 6 months, they're burned out with nothing to show. So today, I'm covering a few boring side hustles that anyone can start, which are built on consistent demand and have much higher success rates than most businesses. Storage businesses, for example, have been reported to maintain occupancy rates above 90%, making them one of the most consistently profitable property-based side hustles. To make this list easy to follow, I'm breaking them down into two categories: hands-on side hustles and semi-passive ones. At number 1 on the list, we have reselling used items. Everyone wants a good deal, and reselling taps into that same psychology. Think of it like a clearance section at a store. People love to buy clearance. Why? Because they feel like they're saving money and getting a good deal. ThreadUp's 2024 resale report projects the US secondhand market to reach $73 billion by 2028, which proves the demand is there. I've seen people buy old furniture for close to nothing on Facebook Marketplace, fix them, and flip them for a profit. It's definitely not sexy, but if you do this 10 to 20 times a month, you could pocket a couple $1,000s in profit per month. The key to this side hustle is to start small and sell things lying around your house that you're not using, and then later grow into bulk buying used items and reselling them. Once you get to that point, you could even rent a storage unit to hold inventory, since not everything sells quickly. So you need patience and the time for sourcing and delivery. If you're starting from zero today, the easiest way is to list extra stuff around your house on platforms like Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Once you're comfortable, experiment with what's working right now. Social shopping apps like Poshmark, Mercari, TikTok Shop, or whatnot. There's going to be so much you learn along the way, so I highly recommend not overthinking it and just getting started, because it's actually a perfect time to start with a platform like Whatnot. It's one of the fastest growing live shopping platforms in the US right now. It's huge for collectibles, sneakers, vintage items, and it's more like a live auction rather than a Facebook Marketplace listing. Social shopping is huge in countries like China right now, and definitely the future of resale side hustles in the US. So learning this now will give you a huge head start and advantage. Hustle number 2, tutoring or teaching skills, hands-on. Tutoring is one of the most underrated side hustles because people are always willing to pay to learn from someone who already has the skills they want. A lot of people think of traditional subjects like math or English when they hear tutoring, but if you know how to play tennis, cook, take nice photos with a camera, or even edit videos, there's someone out there willing to pay you to teach them. Skills will always have consistent demand, which makes tutoring one of the most reliable side hustles you can start as a total beginner. Let's say you start tutoring at $20 an hour. If you do 20 hours a week at that rate, that's about $400 a week or $1,600 a month. If you raise prices to $25 to $30 an hour or expand it to group classes, you can easily hit $2,000 a month. If you're a total beginner, here's the simple way to get started. Pick a subject or skill you're comfortable teaching. Offer free or discounted sessions for your friends or family members to build confidence and get testimonials. List your service on tutoring platforms like Wisent, Care.com, Tutor.com, Craigslist, Varsity Tutors, or even post in a local Facebook community group. Start at a low rate around $15 to $20 an hour, then raise it as you gain students and reviews. Focus on building consistent clients each week instead of one-off lessons. Once you're stable, you can test group sessions and eventually package your lessons into a digital course for people who would rather learn on their own. Hustle number 3, local services, hands-on. Things like lawn care, cleaning, or mobile car washes. These are super boring businesses, but they're definitely recession-proof. According to IBIS World, the US landscaping services industry alone generates over $130 billion annually and has grown steadily for the past decade, showing just how consistent the demand is for these kinds of everyday services. Here's the math. Let's say you charge $30 per lawn cut and you do 20 lawns a week. That's $600 a week of a side hustle, or $2,400 a month. That's more than most people make at their first jobs. The way you'd start is with your neighbors, then landing small business contracts, and eventually hiring a crew if you want to scale. The downsides to this side hustle are obviously the physical work and scheduling, but you don't ever have to worry about demand because there's so many people looking for it. If you're a beginner, here's how to get started step by step. Make a simple flyer or post online in local community groups offering your service. Start with neighbors or friends to get your first paying clients and build trust. Use only the basic tools or supplies you already have. Rent or borrow at first to keep your costs low. Set low prices that are competitive for your area so you can get your early clients. Schedule jobs at times that fit your lifestyle, so weekends or evenings if you have a day job. As demand grows, you'll want to narrow down which services are most requested and pay the most and only focus on those. This is probably a good time to also invest in better equipment to save time and be more efficient with your services. Once you have a steady list of clients, you can reach out to small businesses or property managers who need recurring help, since this will usually pay more. Over time, you can hire part-time or full-time help to buy back your time. For the next side hustle, we have storage or rental businesses. Think about the last time you needed a tool or piece of equipment, but only for a day or two. Most people don't want to buy things for one-time uses, which is where this side hustle comes in. Let's say you pick up a $200 pressure washer and start renting it out for $40 a day on weekends. After just a handful of rentals, the pressure washer has paid for itself and everything after is profit. Another business model is renting out storage space. This could mean something as simple as an empty garage, basement, or parking spot that you're not using. People are always looking for affordable storage instead of paying premium rates at large storage companies. It makes the most sense if you live in a busy city or suburban area where extra space is limited, so there's enough demand to give you that steady monthly income. If you want to try this side hustle, there are two different ways you can get started depending on what you want to rent out. Here are some steps to renting out tools and equipment. Look around your house for things people might want to borrow, like cameras, lawnmowers, power tools, or even electronics. Take clear photos and create listings on rental platforms like Fat Llama or Facebook Marketplace. Start small with 1 or 2 items to see what demand is like in your area. When you meet with people, make sure you're being safe and set up simple rental terms like a deposit or an ID check. Track which items rent quickly and reinvest profits into more of what people want in order to scale. Here are the steps to renting out storage or parking space. Find out any unused space you own, whether it's an empty garage, basement, spare room, or parking spot. List it on platforms like neighbor.com or Spacer. Research what local storage companies are charging per month for similar space and set your rate just under that so you can stay competitive. Create a set of clear instructions on access rules, so basically when and how renters can use the space. Keep it safe, clean, and secure so people come back and stick with you long term. Both approaches can be expanded later into higher ticket rentals like dedicated storage units or fleets of equipment, which can provide a steady monthly income. The next side hustle is buying vending machines or ATMs, which is one of the more passive side hustles you can try. The idea is simple. Once a machine is placed in a high traffic location, it can generate consistent income with very little daily effort. For example, a basic snack vending machine might cost $2,000 to $3,000 up front, but can bring in a few $100s per month depending on foot traffic. This would mean you only need a couple months to break even. ATMs are similar, where you can typically earn a fee of $2 to $3 per withdrawal, which adds up quickly if the machine is in a busy area like a barbershop or convenience store where people need cash. The key here is all about location. Your machine needs steady traffic. The only thing you would need to worry about is keeping machines stocked with products or cash and making sure they're functional so it's not fully passive. If you're brand new and want to try this, here's a simple beginner process. Research your local area and make a list of high traffic spots like laundromats, barbershops, small convenience stores, nail salons, etc. Ask the shop owner if you can place your machine there and offer to give them a small cut of profits, which is usually around 10 to 20%. Start with one machine, either a snack machine or a single ATM, so your risks stay low. If you don't have the cash up front, there are a few ways you can make it work. Save a portion of your paycheck until you hit the $2,000 to $3,000 mark. Look for used machines on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace that are cheaper. Partner with a friend to split the cost, or even finance the machine through a small equipment loan. The important thing is not to overextend yourself. Start with one affordable machine, prove it works, and build from there. Learn the basics of restocking, cash handling, and simple repairs. There are tons of step-by-step YouTube videos that walk you through how to refill machines, and swap out parts. Track your earnings for a few months to see what's working before you expand. Once you've proven one machine is profitable, slowly add more locations and build a route. So these are just 5 examples of boring businesses that will always work. But instead of just thinking about side hustles as a list of ideas, here's a framework to judge whether something will have demand and won't disappear when trends change. Ask yourself, does this solve a problem people have every single day? For example, take storage. People are always going to need a place to put their stuff, whether they're moving, downsizing, or just don't have enough space at home. That's not a trend, that's a constant need. Would people still need this in 10 years? For example, people are always going to need food, no matter what happens in the next 10 years and how much technology changes, everyone still has to eat, which makes food-related businesses something that will never go away. Is the customer base broad? The wider the audience, the more stable the demand. For example, cleaning services apply to almost everyone, whether it's families, businesses, or landlords, so the customer base is huge and that keeps demand steady. Is it something people need and not just a luxury? For example, everyone needs a roof over their head. Rent and housing costs aren't optional, they're necessary, which is why housing-related services always have steady demand. Can it be repeated to create recurring income? For example, think about lawn care. Grass doesn't stop growing, which means people need to cut it every week or two. That's recurring income, and that's what compounds over time. So those are 5 boring side hustles that quietly make people rich. If you're young and you're trying to get rich, it's probably not worth chasing the flashy side hustles you see online. These side hustles aren't fancy, but they pay the bills and create generational wealth. And if you want to learn what to do with this money once you start making it, check out this video right here to learn about investing.